A cold wind swept through the Boston suburbs on a February morning. Martha Wilson walked with familiar steps toward the Victorian-style house in Newton's quiet residential area. At 7 a.m., the sky was still dim, and yesterday's snow lingered on the roads. The wind from Crystal Lake caressed her cheeks. She unlocked the front door and quietly entered the house. The rhythmic sound of a ventilator from upstairs told the story of the 8-year-old girl who lived there. "Good morning, Emily." As soon as she entered her granddaughter's room, Martha checked the ventilator display. The numbers shown on the LTV 1150 screen were like a second language to her, drawn from 30 years of nursing experience. Oxygen saturation, respiratory rate, tidal volume, she confirmed all readings were within normal range. Grandma Emily, who had been reading The Secret Garden in bed, responded cheerfully. With wisdom beyond her 8 years, she skillfully managed her ventilator tubes as she sat up. Her brown curls gleamed in the morning sun. "I finished all my math homework yesterday. I'm perfect at adding fractions now." "My, that's wonderful. Would you teach Grandma sometime?" As Martha smiled warmly, she heard movement in the hallway. "Oh, Martha. Would you mind if I rest a bit today? I'm so tired." Rachel, her son's wife, appeared in expensive silk pajamas. She had married David 5 years ago and had previously worked as a medical administrator at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Though she played the role of the perfect mother, lately she'd been showing signs of fatigue more frequently. "Of course, dear. I'll make breakfast. I'll take care of Emily's medication too." "Thanks. I'll get some more sleep then." Rachel elegantly brushed back her hair and returned to the bedroom. Watching her leave, Martha felt something wasn't quite right. Despite claiming exhaustion, her makeup was impeccable. While warming whole wheat bagels in the kitchen, Martha reflected on last week's events. When checking medical bills, Rachel had brushed off concerns about excessive medical supply charges, saying, "It's fine, insurance covers it." As she brewed organic coffee, Martha questioned her intuition. Her 30 years of experience as a pediatric nurse at Boston General Hospital was raising alarm bells. What also concerned her was Dr. Parker's demeanor during yesterday's regular checkup. "Mrs. Wilson, is there anything concerning you?" That question seemed to carry a different meaning, and the doctor's eyes showed unusual concern. Her son David remained caught up in work as always. As a sales manager at Boston Scientific, he spent half the month traveling to earn enough for his daughter's expensive treatments. After his marriage 5 years ago, he became even more of a workaholic. Last night too, he was seen working on paperwork until late. "Grandma, I have a video call science experiment today. We're learning about changes in water states." Emily's voice brought Martha back to reality. While mindful of the tubes, she enthusiastically shared her plans for the day. Martha nodded along while hurrying with breakfast preparations. Through the window, she could see magnolia buds heralding spring's arrival. "The teacher said that even kids like me who can't go to school can study with friends online now. I'm so excited." Emily's smile warmed Martha's heart. Despite her severe congenital lung condition, she never showed a gloomy face. Rather, she lived life to the fullest within her given circumstances. The bells of nearby Grace Episcopal Church struck 8. A new day was beginning. However, Martha didn't yet know that small cracks had already begun to appear in this peaceful morning routine. The bill amounts, Rachel's attitude, the doctor's words, they were all harbingers of events to come. The aroma of blue bottle coffee and toasted bagels filled the kitchen. Outside the window, she could faintly hear the siren of an ambulance heading to Newton Wellesley Hospital. As March arrived and the snow began to melt, an unsettling atmosphere started to permeate the house. As the ice on Crystal Lake gradually thawed and spring approached, Martha's sense of unease grew day by day. Particularly concerning was Rachel's attitude toward the caregiving staff. She who had previously given instructions with carefully chosen words now openly expressed dissatisfaction. How can you not understand something so simple? We're paying you a considerable amount. Rachel spoke harshly to the physical therapist who visited 3 times a week. Her voice must have carried to Emily's room upstairs. Martha frowned as she silently observed. Even more puzzling were the persistent inquiries to the insurance company. Yes, that's right. All these treatments should be covered by insurance. I used to be a medical administrator, so I know. While making coffee in the kitchen, Martha overheard Rachel talking to someone on her smartphone. Her tone was clearly different from usual, carrying a calculating edge. David, look at this. One night, Martha witnessed her son checking documents. He, usually focused solely on work, sometimes appeared to be recording conversations with his wife. His business trips increased, and he was away from home more often. New security cameras were installed one after another, and document storage methods changed. Monitoring of Emily's room, in particular, became more stringent. Small black lenses watched every corner of the room. This is for Emily's safety, Rachel explained, but the direction of the cameras seemed odd. They appeared to be focused on the ventilator. Mrs. Wilson, have you noticed any changes recently? Dr. Parker's questions became increasingly meaningful. In the examination room, the doctor slowly continued while gazing out the window. For instance, about medical equipment usage, or family dynamics. Martha's nursing instincts, honed over 30 years, grew increasingly anxious. Rachel had been making exaggerated reports about Emily's symptoms at the hospital more frequently. Emily had an attack in the middle of the night. It was really terrible. However, Martha, who watched over the night, had no recollection of such incidents. If anything, Emily's condition had been stable. Even at Whole Foods Market, Rachel's behavior was different from usual. She would stock up on excessive medical supplies, and when Martha said, "We should still have last month's inventory," she wouldn't listen, saying it was just in case. The atmosphere in the house gradually changed. A new filing cabinet with a lock was placed in the living room. A large safe was brought into David's study. "Hey, why am I getting less time to talk with my friends lately?" Emily's innocent question made Martha's heart ache. Indeed, Online class time and video calls with friends had been restricted. "It's for your health, Emily." Rachel's explanation seemed superficial. As Easter preparations began at Grace Episcopal Church, Martha's concerns were turning into certainty. Amidst the blooming trees at Boston College, she had also noticed changes in her son David. Voices in the middle of the night, hushed phone conversations, and watchful glances toward his wife. Everything suggested something was about to happen. "Hey, Grandma." One day, Emily asked Martha. "Has Mom changed somehow? The way she looks at me, it's kind of scary." Those words made Martha's heart sink. Children's intuition is sometimes sharper than adults. Outside the window, dark clouds gathered, forecasting a spring storm. Martha was reviewing her nursing notebooks in her room. She checked past cases for similar incidents. Fraudulent insurance claims, suspicious accidents, sudden deterioration of conditions. With each turn of the page, her chest tightened. "What are you looking at?" Suddenly, Rachel's voice came from behind. Martha hurriedly closed the notebook. "Oh, just old records." Feeling nostalgic, Rachel left without a word, but her gaze clearly showed suspicion. That night, Martha couldn't sleep. Looking at the ceiling illuminated by moonlight through the window, she organized recent events. The high medical bills, increasing surveillance cameras, Rachel's unnatural behavior, and David's changes. The next morning, while selecting vegetables at the farmer's market, Mrs. Grace from next door approached her. "Mrs. Wilson, I've been concerned about your household lately. Especially your daughter-in-law." Her hesitation to complete the sentence made Martha realize that the changes in her home were visible from the outside. The community's eyes had surely noticed the changes. Amid the bustle of Patriots' Day preparations, the warning bells in Martha's heart rang louder. Her granddaughter's pleading gaze, her son's troubled expression, and Rachel's unfathomable smile. Everything felt like a countdown to disaster. One April morning, after finishing shopping at Whole Foods Market earlier than usual, Martha instinctively felt something was wrong. As she passed Newton Wellesley Hospital, an ambulance siren rang out. Martha's heart leaped. As she approached home, she noticed an unusual silence. Emily's usual chatter and the regular sound of the ventilator couldn't be heard. She unlocked the front door and rushed inside. As she was about to run up the stairs, she caught a glimpse of Rachel's shadow in the second-floor hallway. "Emily." No response. Martha held her breath as she headed to her granddaughter's room. The door was half open. At that moment, Martha saw Rachel holding the ventilator cord. Emily lay pale-faced on the bed. "Stop!" Martha's scream echoed through the room. But it was already late. The monitor screen flashed red warnings showing a rapid decline in heart rate. "Oh, Martha. You're back already." Rachel spoke as if having an everyday conversation. She still held the ventilator cord in her hand. "Call an ambulance." Martha's hands shook as she reached for her phone. However, before she could, Dr. Parker rushed into the room. Police officers were visible behind him. "Mrs. Wilson, we were prepared." The doctor immediately began CPR. Officers restrained Rachel and handcuffed her. "Now she'll be at peace," Rachel said with a smile. Her expression showed no trace of maternal love. "Emily, stay with us." Martha gripped her granddaughter's cold hand. Dr. Parker's efficient treatment. The arrival of paramedics. Everything passed like a dream. "Mom." David's expression, as he rushed in breathless, showed he understood everything. "I started investigating after noticing the abnormal increase in recent bills." Rachel had a record. Attempted insurance fraud in another state. David had been working closely with the police, gathering evidence. The newly installed security cameras were actually set up in cooperation with the police. The ventilator had been equipped with a special backup system. "We have a pulse." At Dr. Parker's announcement, everyone in the room breathed a sigh of relief. Color slowly returned to Emily's cheeks. Outside, the bells of Grace Episcopal Church were ringing. Magnolia flowers swayed their fully bloomed branches as the spring breeze blew through. "We have sufficient evidence," the officer informed Martha. Rachel maintained her composure as she was led to the police car. Her designer dress gleamed eerily in the morning sun. In the ambulance heading to Newton Wellesley Hospital, Martha continued holding Emily's hand. The siren echoed through the streets. Cherry blossoms along Boston College's walkways streamed past the ambulance windows. "Grandma." As Emily faintly opened her eyes, Martha smiled while holding back tears. "It's all right now, you're safe." At 10 a.m., spring lights sparkled on Crystal Lake's surface. On this peaceful spring morning, a nightmarish incident occurred. But it was also a new beginning. In the ambulance heading to the hospital, Martha reflected on recent events. Her nursing experience had indeed saved her family. She had noticed Rachel's changes, understood Dr. Parker's hints, and comprehended the meaning of her son's actions. But above all, it was her deep love for her granddaughter that had prevented the worst outcome. In the ambulance, David quietly began explaining. "Last night, we got the final evidence. There were clear signs of forgery in the documents Rachel sent to the insurance company. Dr. Parker had noticed too, and we were quietly preparing." The monitor showing Emily's heart rate beeped regularly in the vehicle. "But why today?" To Martha's question, David heaved a deep sigh. The insurance policy was nearing maturity. Fatigue was deeply etched in her son's profile as he struggled with words. Martha's intuition to hurry back from Whole Foods Market hadn't been wrong. Upon arriving at the hospital, reporters had already begun gathering. Attempted insurance fraud, attempted murder, this horrific incident in a quiet Boston suburb would soon become news. However, Martha's heart now held only one thing: the fact that Emily's life had been saved. The cherry blossom petals visible from the examination room window seemed like rays of hope. After a week of observation in Newton Wellesley Hospital's intensive care unit, Emily began showing signs of recovery. While the magnolia flowers visible through the window at Boston College had started to scatter, new green buds were becoming noticeable. "Good morning, Emily." Every morning when Martha entered the hospital room, her granddaughter would smile in response, still attached to the ventilator. While the memory of the incident seemed to be fading, she occasionally showed anxious expressions. "Mom isn't coming back." To that question, Martha gently squeezed her hand. "Mom has gone far away. But Dad and I will always be here with you." Rachel's trial had already begun. The evidence was clear. Records of past attempted insurance fraud, falsified medical records, and the decisive security camera footage. The prosecution indicated they would seek severe punishment. "I'm innocent. I was thinking of her welfare." Rachel's words in court froze the gallery. Her eyes showed no sign of remorse. Meanwhile, David was desperately working to rebuild. He adjusted his work at Boston Scientific, increasing his work-from-home time. Emily's nursing care system was also improved to be more comprehensive. "Mom, thank you so much." One night, David bowed deeply to Martha. "Your experience and intuition saved Emily." At those words, David's voice choked up. No, this was everyone's effort. Indeed, there had been support from many people. The Grace Episcopal Church community sent words of encouragement daily. Dr. Parker was advancing research on better treatment methods. Neighbors were offering whatever assistance they could. The hospital staff were particularly supportive. The network Martha had built during her 30-year nursing career was now proving to be a great source of support. "Mrs. Wilson, we'd like to consult with you about Emily's new treatment plan." Dr. Parker explained the new treatment plan with a hopeful expression. The latest ventilator system, more effective medication programs, and the introduction of breakthrough physical therapy. Everything was prepared for Emily's better future. "Grandma, look." In May, Emily was able to participate in online classes using a tablet from her hospital bed for the first time. On the screen, her classmates waved with smiling faces. "Everyone was waiting for me." At that moment, Martha felt tears welling up. 1 month after the incident, the life that was nearly lost was surely regaining its light. At Crystal Lake, spring waterfowl had already returned. Looking at this scene from the hospital room window, Martha reflected. Life sometimes brings unimaginable trials. However, with love and trust, they can always be overcome. "They say I can go home this Sunday." Emily's joyful voice filled the entire hospital room. The new ventilator was much more compact and easier to use than before. "Yes. Let's all welcome a new beginning." Martha gently stroked her granddaughter's hair while looking out the window. Newton's streetscape showed its usual peaceful view. However, for this family, everything was about to be reborn. "Thank you, Grandma." Martha nodded firmly at Emily's words. The warm May sunlight gently illuminated the hospital room. Along with the beginning of a new season, their story was about to take another step forward. Moreover, to prevent such tragedies from recurring, a review of the medical system had begun. Centered around Dr. Parker, strengthening the monitoring system for home medical care was being considered, and new measures to prevent insurance system loopholes were being discussed. The bells of Grace Episcopal Church quietly echoed through the town. It sounded like the chimes of new hope. On the day of discharge, former colleagues from Boston Children's Hospital came to celebrate. The bonds built over 30 years of nursing life remained warmly unchanged. Mrs. Wilson, your experience is becoming the foundation for new medical safety guidelines. The former head nurse, once her subordinate, announced. Learning from this incident, a review of monitoring systems in home medical care was progressing. From now on, we'll hold monthly community meetings to consult with families in similar situations. Housewives from the neighborhood, whom she met at Whole Foods Market, had also begun expanding new support networks. This sad incident had indeed moved people's hearts and become a step toward a better future. Come, Emily. Let's go to our new home. To Martha's words, her granddaughter responded with a beaming smile. The spring breeze gently opened the door to a future